Political protests are at the essence of our democracy. And with this year's conventions, the threat of protest is posing serious concern.
Big question, are we going to be safe throughout this convention?
Are there anarchists in the group?
We are prepared. We are ready.
But this is nothing new. Arguably, the biggest upheaval of all was Chicago 1968.
Unrestrained and indiscriminate police violence.
Thousands stormed the streets with a common issue: ending the Vietnam War. The mood was tense, with reports saying the National Guard was on standby, with orders to shoot and kill if necessary. 4 years later, at the 1972 GOP convention in Miami Beach, 3,000 anti-Vietnam War demonstrators harassed delegates. Hundreds were arrested as people shattered windows and dented cars, while police used riot control agents, causing injuries to many. The conventions during the 80s and 90s had their share of protests, but they were predominantly peaceful and contained in comparison to other years. Fast forward to the 2000 Democratic Convention in LA, when a Rage Against the Machine concert, in protest of our nation's two-party system, turned sour. Thousands clashed with police over their right to protest. The Republican convention that same year took place in Philadelphia. Protesters took action over several causes, like capital punishment and human rights. New restrictions on public assembly that year had police infiltrating protest groups and preemptively arresting some. 4 years later, at the 2004 RNC in New York City, more than 1,800 people were arrested, a record for political conventions in the US. Protesters were rallying against the Iraq War, the Bush administration, and global AIDS policies, which, by the way, was a whole issue in itself. AIDS protesters stripped naked and stopped traffic, literally. The 2008 RNC in St. Paul, Minnesota was the site of an anti-war march that escalated to violent chaos. Protesters threw rocks and shattered windows. Police arrested hundreds. That same year in Denver, things got heated when DNC protesters stepped outside of the convention's designated free speech zone. Police made 150 arrests, resulting in a number of lawsuits brought on by the ACLU. The 2012 RNC protests were handled way better, with protesters in downtown Tampa rallying for better jobs, healthcare, affordable education, and equality. Despite their differences, law enforcement respected protesters' rights and didn't use force. But things were more contentious at the DNC in Charlotte. People in support of the organization, undocumented and unafraid, were arrested while protesting the millions of deportations made by the Obama administration. So what's to come in 2016? With ongoing gun violence, racial tensions, mass deportations, and progressives who simply believe the system is rigged, it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks in American politics. I'm Raquel Chisholm, and this is Fusion.